Well, morning everybody. Um, I think I'm going to start doing this on a regular basis now that I'm allowed to say where I am. So, quick history lesson. I've only got a few minutes. I got to start work here in a few. I'm from Canada. My name's Phil, and I left the country of Canada in 2021. I had many reasons for leaving. I have a daughter named Sophia, who I miss dearly. She was taken from my custody by the corrupt Canadian government / authorities. And I lived in the city of Welland. My family, my parents, Carson and Donna Culp, my father being a reverend of Christ Community Church in Welland, conspired with CAS to take my child. And they nearly killed me several times. Upon arrival to Italy, I arrived here. I was met by a woman I was in a long-distance relationship with, and her family. They secured an apartment. We settled down here. I had a job that I had arranged, and then it fell apart. All plans had basically crumbled. And it took 2 years to find a job. I finally got one. And it's not just a job, it's my own business. I work freelance now. I do pretty well. I came here with my cat, and he's having a hard time right now. He's an old boy. When I arrived, I was skin and bone. I had no body weight at all. I was half starved. And to get me on the plane, because of Canadian authorities being abusive, the airline staff had me pretend to be injured, even though I have an injury, and a long-term one, so that they could put me in a wheelchair to keep the Toronto police off of me at the airport. That was the only way to get me on board that plane. The police were going to do everything in their power to stop me from getting here. So, that being said, and I'm not a criminal at all. I have no criminal record. Summer of last year, the girlfriend, Marina, left to go to her family's home to do some stuff, and then was going to come back with a driver's license, a car, and a course, and whatever to help us get situated. That was the plan that I was told, but that's not the plan they had in place. She dragged it on for 2 months and then ghosted me completely. Left me here abandoned with nothing. Despite all that, I found myself. I went through a lot of trauma. I'm still suffering from PTSD because of this. Despite all that, I'm now doing a lot better. Unfortunately, I'm smoking a bit right now, but that's just because my vape is having trouble. I don't want to smoke, but the vape is damaged, and I need to replace it. But I have a sick cat that needs to see a vet right away, and so he's got to go in and get looked at. She had rescued another cat, didn't listen to me, and my old cat can't fight. His immune system can't handle anything that was transferred to him, and she didn't listen, and I was out, and he's been having trouble ever since. And he's getting close to death here, so I'm taking him down to the vet to tell the Grim Reaper to go screw a monkey. So anyway, I found myself here in this country. While I'm talking here in the video, I'm going to set up my work here because I got to get started. So I found myself. I found that in the midst of hell, I managed to dig myself out. I managed to find myself in a way that I never thought was possible. And I want you to understand what that's all about. The reality is that life is never going to be easy. And I mean, Sylvester Stallone, he said it so well. He said that, how do you say that again? He said, Oh man, I just had a brain fart. I got Forrest Gump in my head now. Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. I can't remember the other part because he says it kind of funny. I think it's you, them, or anybody, or nobody, something like that. Will hit as hard as life, but it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. In another line, he says, if you're willing to go through the battling to go through to get to where you want to get, who's got the right to stop you? You know, you have the ability in your life to give up or to fight. I've never been one to give up. Never. Why would I give up? I mean, think about it. I fought for my daughter in the courts against corrupt judges, lawyers, CAS workers, you name it, for over 6 years with no lawyer. And I was on disability, so I was entitled to a lawyer, but they made sure I didn't have a defense. I countersued a judge who then ordered me to pay a bunch of money out of spite, not realizing that I'm a tech and I found her offshore accounts. A bunch of others too. And we know what they're doing. We know how they're doing it. We know where it's coming from. We know who it's coming from. We know that they get a couple thousand per child from the CAS directly. We know they do. We got proof of it. You know, this is the stuff we have. And there's so much more. We know where they like to send some of these children to be mistreated. We know that they're dealing with international abduction and international trafficking, child trafficking, and all that stuff. We know that Canada is a huge player in that. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. So to say that I've had it rough is an understatement. I grew up poor. My own family conspired against me. I had no reason to live. None. Zip, zilch, zero. And yet, here I am. And so it's important to share with everyone what it is that I'm dealing with. I had a choice to make. Do I step it up? Do I stay in the country of Canada where I'm not going to have any life? Or do I take a chance? And so I went back to a country I'd never been to before, but brought my family's blood back to a country from where we came, the country of Italy. And I found in this gorgeous country a place where I truly belong. My normal behaviors back home are actually acceptable and appropriate here. I'm a talker. So are Italians. And Italians talk with their hands. So do I. You know how many times in the court I got accused of being threatening simply because I talk with my hands? What kind of nonsense is that? I'm part Italian. Of course I do. You know, my grandmother was full Italian. Like, come on. I found that my behaviors, my normal behaviors, are very normal culturally for here in Italy. You know, I remember the first month I was here with Marina. And she says to me, why don't you just mind your own business? Because I heard some knocking outside the window. And I look down and there's a guy down there and he's got this ladder. And he's trying to fix it. It's broken. Italians aren't ones to just throw everything away. If they got something that's broken, they try to fix it. That's how I grew up, so it's normal for me. So I grabbed what couple of tools I had with me that I brought from Canada and a bottle of olive oil, and I went outside. I brought the olive oil because I didn't have any WD-40. Oil's oil. Let's do this. I didn't speak a lick of Italian, still really don't. It's a little bit. And he doesn't speak a lick of English. And of course, Marina said, just mind your own business. It's not your problem. But we're in a foreign country, and I have to build a reputation here, and I want to make friends. So I helped the guy out, and we fixed the ladder. Spent an hour. And because of that one, that moment of effort with somebody I didn't even know, I gained a relationship with an entire family. To this day, if I need a favor, just show up. Just show up. Invite myself over if I'm hungry. If I'm out of wine, just, you got any wine? Not a problem. He told me, you ever need anything, you come to my door. That's it. He's my neighbor. And the guy I helped wasn't even him. It was just somebody he knows. And the whole community learned about me. When I was ghosted and abandoned by Marina and her family, the community said to me, I got pulled aside by one of my buddies. And he's, well, more of an acquaintance, really. And he says to me, he says, we see you. We see you. We see you go up and down that mountain almost every day with a duffel bag or a grocery bag, walking with a cane and a bad knee, bringing food home from the market for that little lady of yours, that ungrateful, vindictive little lady. We see you. We talk about you. You are our friend. You are part of this community, and we care about you. We see you. You're going to be okay. And like hornets of a hornet's nest, when I was in trouble, this entire community, without my asking, because I don't like asking for help, just showed up. Even people I didn't know. With wood so I could stay warm. With food so I wouldn't go hungry. My landlord waived the rent so I wouldn't have to worry. So I had time to get myself situated and get myself safe. Focus on consumption. Don't worry about the rent right now. Despite the fact that her husband just passed away and she's low on income. The community pulled together. Not because I asked them to, because I didn't. Because I earned a reputation here. Starting with a ladder. And there are many examples of things that I've done. One of my friends, one of my good friends here, he said to me, something changed in you when you got your job. You were going through all this trauma, and yet something changed in you. You're so different. And I love it. It's fantastic. You work so hard. How's that for attention? How's that for noticing? The reputation I earned and gained with these locals is insane. I have gained so much of a good rep here. I'm social. I'm caring. I make the effort every day, and they see it. They don't judge me for my mistakes. They say, okay, they made a boo-boo. That's all right. You shouldn't have been with that woman. She's immature. We understand that you loved her. We can see that you're genuine. It's going to be okay. We're going to get you an Italian. That's the way it should be. Don't you worry about it, they said. And now there's a woman here that her and I keep flirting back and forth, so we'll see where that goes. But the it's funny too. But the point is, the locals try. In fact, that very woman, I was in their family business, and this old man comes in. He looks at me and he says, "Did you come to Italy looking for a woman?" I said, "No." He says, "Well, the two of you." She gets all red in the face, puts her head down and goes, "No," like this, right? And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I see it. We all see it." Her dad's right there, and he's just big grin on his face because they're trying to hook me up with her, right? You know, it's, and he says, "Maybe you'll learn some Italiano." I'm like, "Vaffanculo." You know, he's like, but but this country is just, it's brought things in myself that I didn't know I had. And I wrote a Facebook post yesterday. I'll read it real quick. I've actually got to start work. I'm so late to start work. I'm just bringing it up here. Here it is right here. This is what I said. "There is something beautiful and magical about being at rock bottom." Now let me move this over here so I can actually, so I'm looking at the camera. Whoops. Okay. "You find things you lost. You find things you never knew you lost. You gain things you never knew you had in you. You gain a thicker skin. Your muscles get stronger. You build up your personality. You earn new friendships and relationships. People see you differently when they watch you fall and then rise. You earn respect from all the onlookers. People begin to fear you as they watch you rise stronger than when you fell. Your circle can sometimes get smaller at first, but then better people show up and join your circle. You gain self-respect, self-humility, self-discipline, inner strength. But more than anything else, you realize later on that your inner energy that was out of tune before your fall actually needed you to fall so it could get itself into tune, and you find yourself better than you were before you broke. All in all, failing is not always a bad thing. That's what I wrote. It's not easy. It's not easy. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact. I am where I am, and I am who I am because of all the bad things done to me. But I'm still living. I'm still alive. I have survived. And now, I'm building a future. And I just had a birthday. I'm closer to 50 than I was to 40. But I got this. So no matter how dark things get, no matter how bad they seem, if I can get up, so can you. And it's not about pastures being greener on the other side. I came here because it was the right place to be. And I was invited anyway. By the country and by another. And I'm safe. And all those people that hurt me are going to find out the fight ain't over yet. I'm going to right the wrongs that were done. I'm going to punish the guilty and expose the corrupt. And when this is done, they're going to remember my name. And their generations to come are going to remember my name. And they're going to know that one man that they put down on his knees and kicked when he was down was stronger than all of their armies combined. That's the truth. So don't worry about substance, ladies and gentlemen. Substance ain't important. Look at that background behind me. The beautiful country of Italy. I live in that. So can you. And this is one of the safest places in the world you could ever be. Italy will welcome you. And they'll love you. Not because you deserve it. Simply because they care. Italy's got some things wrong. Just like every country. But Italy's got more right than wrong. And I am proud to be part Italian. And I am proud to be here. And I am grateful that I'm here. I'm even grateful to the ex who completely nearly took my life. Because if not for her, I wouldn't be here. Is what it is. Anyway, I'm 13 minutes late for starting my shift, even though I'm logged in. I got customers that need my help. So, arrivederci.